ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಸೌಮ್ಯ ಮೇಡಮ್, ರೆಡಿ, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್.
Yes, sir.
Start.
Good morning, everyone. I am Soumya, lecturer in Department of Commerce. It's my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to you all. Your presence makes us very happy. Swami Vivekananda Rural First Grade College was started in the year 2005 in order to impart quality education for rural students. The college is one of the premier education institution in Bengaluru, functioning under the umbrella of Swami Vivekananda Rural Education Society. The college is affiliated to Bengaluru University and accredited by NAC. The college offers UG courses in commerce and business administration and also equips students with necessary skills for employment and entrepreneurship. Our topic for today is a revamp of the framework of higher education, and the research person is Mrs. Chaitali Ghosh Sinha, Assistant Professor, Arihant College of Education, Savitribai Phule, Pune University. The main purpose of organizing this webinar is recently the Union Cabinet has approved New Education Policy 2020. It is very essential for all of us to know the new reforms in education system. New Education Policy 2020 aims at making the education system holistic, flexible, multidisciplinary, aligned to the needs of 21st century and also 2030 sustainable development goals. Now, let us start with the session. Now I invite Ms. Tejashwini, lecturer in Department of Commerce, to give an invocation song.
महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि, महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि, महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि, वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दित महागणपतिम् महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं मारकोटि प्रकाशं शान्तं महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियम् महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियं मूषकवाहनमोदकप्रियं महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियं मूषकवाहनमोदकप्रियं महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि, महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि, महागणपतिं मनसा. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for invoking God's blessings on all of us. Now I call up Mr. Ramesh, CG, HOD, Department of Commerce, and also an IQAC coordinator, to welcome our beloved resource person for today's webinar and also the participants.
Thank you, Samir Madam. Honorable guest, respected management members, respected principal, teachers, and my dear friends. Good morning to all of you. I, Mr. Ramesh, IQAC Coordinator, SPR of G College, welcome every one of you to the Day 2 National Level Webinar. I feel proud to welcome today's resource person, Mrs. Chaitali Ghosh Sinha, MPhil, MAd, MSc in Botany, NET and SLET in Education. Possesses 10 years of teaching experience and currently is serving as an assistant professor at Arihant College of Education, Pune. She has been invited as a judge for several intercollegiate competitions and also received a letter of appreciation for Teacher of Excellence from Human Resource Department, Government of India, New Delhi. She also received an All-Rounder Student Award in B.Ed as well as M.Ed. Professor W.N. Dandekar Award for Excellent Student of the Year in B.Ed as well as M.Ed. She is a trained mountaineer and the paraglider received late SP Singh Memorial Award for high altitude climbing. Certified is in classical vocal music, presented more than 10 papers in state level, national level, and international level. I welcome highly esteemed management members, respected principal, IQAC members, teachers, and my dear friends. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your warm welcome. It's my pleasure to welcome you also for today's national webinar. Before I turn the time over to the resource person, participants, please make sure to type your questions into the chat box and I'll bring them up in the question and answer session in the end. Without a further delay, I would like to hand over to the resource person, Mrs. Chaitali Ghosh Sinha. Ma'am, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you so much, sir, for introducing me to all of you. It's an honor to be associated with you all and share my views related to NEP 2020. Here, in for this activity, they have given me a topic to discuss the revamp, the framework. So I will mostly focus on what are the changes which are going to be in the field of education and higher education, mostly related to all the aspects, be it institution, be it governance, or everything. So without further any delay, I'll share my screen with you all so that we can start the presentation. So yesterday, Dr. Nagaraju sir has given you an overview of what actually is happening in the field of education and how it is going to impact the entire NEP 2020, how it's going to impact the entire education system with its hurdles as well as its hopes. Apart from that, today I am going to discuss only related to the revamp in the higher education, how the framework of higher education is going to change. So first, let's talk about why we need a change in higher education. Do we seriously require a change in higher education? So first thing, which was observed during the survey of all these activity for last 34 years, it is found out that the education system, the entire education ecosystem is very fragmented into different sectors like primary education, secondary education, higher education, and even in higher education, it is divided into so many different aspects, and none of them are integrated under one umbrella. So that is one point where we need to change the higher education, where everything will be governed and projected and be working together in hand. So that is one thing which required it to be revised. Also there is a vivid separation of discipline, but in the era where we are living in an era where we are talking about multidisciplinarity, where we are talking about interdisciplinarity, at that time this rigid separation of discipline actually creates a lot of problem. Because of that also we need to revamp the entire higher education. Apart from that, the socio-economic disadvantage area are still very backward. They are not coming into the picture till now, though we are trying, the entire government and other people are trying, but still they have not got enough input from the education sector, and still they are into the backward sector. Then the limited number of teachers, because of the higher teacher student ratio, has also complicated the entire system, and are not able to bring out the best out of the teachers, where they will give their 100% or 200% to the student, so that the student can be flourished in all round. Then there was less amount of institutional autonomy, where for everything you have to take permission from higher authority, and till the time the permission comes, the time is over, it becomes very difficult to uh, implement them. And also we all know that there's very less emphasis is given for the research, because of which we are losing the entrepreneurship development in our society. Also we are losing to the innovations which should be there in our society. We are losing into that.
Chaitanya
Then
madam,
yes,
uh,
yes sir.
PPT is not visible.
uh, okay, nothing is visible sir.
No madam.
Okay, I have stopped sharing now. Let me just see sir, one second.
No, no, no sir.
Can it is visible now?
You are visible now.
And when I'm giving in the slide share, it is not visible. I'm doing slide share again. Is
Yeah,
it visible sir?
now share it, madam. Now
Okay,
share.
1 minute sir, just give me time. So please see it. Can
Now,
you see the? Okay. Can you see it now?
no, madam. Actually, whenever you're doing
Yes.
slideshow, it's
Yes.
blank.
Okay. So what should I do?
So try to use that only, madam. So
Yes,
without
sir.
slideshow, without slideshow.
Without slideshow, I'll go like this.
Yes, madam.
No issues, na?
No issue, no issue.
Okay. Okay. This is visible to all of you, right? Everyone can see it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So uh, is it okay with everybody? Like everybody can see it.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. You can carry.
Carry. Okay. I'll carry on. Okay, so we were talking about we are also talking about the merit-based activity which is taking place here. Now, the career has become more merit-based. Like whatever marks you get, you will be stamped with that marks. People does not value more the work you are doing. They are only seeing the credentials. So your credentials, how much marks you have got, and all your progression and everything is judged by that. Even for the faculties, this is for the student as well as for the faculties. The work they are putting, the physical work they are putting, the mental work, the connectivity which they are having with the students are not much of value, or they are not giving much of importance. Then the outcome, then then whatever research is that faculty is doing, and whatever other work he is doing, that is more valued. So the interaction with the students, the outcome which is we are getting from the student is not being credited to the faculty. So that is one problem with this higher education right now. Even the governance and leadership is not optimal, because they have to maintain the hierarchy, which is sometimes very difficult to maintain, and the permission for many things are not being able to provided on time. Because of that, the implementation of the work is being delayed. So the governance as well as leadership has not explored till its optimum level. Apart from that, the regulatory system is also not effective. we all know that there is huge amount of corruption going on in the field of education, and that's because there is less amount of regulatory system. There is a less amount of regulation over the entire education system. So that is one point where we need to really think upon and where we need to change. So NEP has brought some changes which we are going to discuss later on. Apart from that, the low standard of UG education, and also PG education, and this is happening because of the overburden of the university. There are few university, they are having many colleges affiliated to them, and to see the working of these colleges are not as easy as we think, and then what happened, we miss out on the main focus of the activity, or why we are doing higher education. So also less emphasis is given on the cognitive skill. Here, when we see the Bloom's taxonomy, only the first three hierarchy of that is understanding, remembering, and applying. We are only focused on that in our entire higher education, as well as in our primary and secondary and senior secondary education. But we have to go beyond it. We have to think about the higher cognitive skills where analysis, synthesis, and evaluation and everything comes, and which is going to result into more effective uh, human power, which will result into more entrepreneur in the society, which is going to give more abled person in our society, which are who are going to be the assets of the country, who are going to be the gem of the country. And we as an educational will be proud on them, so that we have produced them. So these all are the things where we need to have some changes in higher education. And based on this, NEP has suggested many reforms, which we are going to see now. So these are the points where we are going to, these are the points where I'm going to touch during this session. The structure, the institutional reform, holistic development, student support, faculty development, how to include teacher education, vocational education, academic research, regulatory system, and how to curb the commercialization, and effective government. So these all, whatever I'm going to touch upon, is already put up in the NEP, and I'm going to put it forward to you with little bit of my own thoughts related to that. Now let's see what is the proposed structure of higher education. Till now, till present time, we have this structure, that 3 years of bachelor degree, 2 years of master degree. Apart from that, if you want to do further study, you can do MPhil and PhD. But now onwards, there will be change in the system, and how it is going to, first the undergraduate degree will be of four different categories. Yeah, one, if you are doing 1 year undergraduate course, then you will get a certificate. If you are going to do 2 years, you will get a diploma degree. If you are going to do 3 years, you will get a bachelor degree. And if you complete 4 years of it with a rigorous research work, specialization in some research area, you will get a degree with a research. Now, here I want to point out that earlier in our this present education system, what is happening is, if a child becomes dropout, he does not able to continue his study for longer time. At that time, what is happening, that they don't get any kind of recognition that they have invested 1 or 2 years of their work or their life in study. There are many reasons, there are a number of reasons which may lead to the dropout of the child in the education. So their work of that 1 or 2 years, which definitely go in vain, that is not been recognized. But now with this NEP, they will be recognized. If you have done 1 year, you will get a certificate. If you do a 2 years course, you will get a diploma. If you do a 3 year course, you will get a bachelor degree. So all your work will be recognized by this education system. So this is a very good move, and the kids, the students, will not be stamped with the stigma that they have not completed their work or they have not completed their study. So this is going to have a very good impact on the kids, on the children, as as they are going to be recognized, as well as they are going to be appreciated actually what they have achieved, which is now is not at all been acknowledged. Secondly, the postgraduate system. How it is going to change? The in postgraduate system, the 1 year, uh, the person who has taken this 4 year of degree with research is going to take postgraduate degree or a master degree for 1 year. If they complete that 1 year of education in the postgraduate degree, they will be they will get the master degree. And then if a student who has completed his 3 years of bachelor degree, if he wants to do the PG course, he has to go through a 2 year work. He has to do a 2 year course. And for there will be another system where there will be integrated BSc, integrated bachelor and master program, maybe BA, MA or BSc, MSc, like that. So there will be an integrated program also for 5 years where the student will get BA, graduate degree as well as master degree. So that is also a part. So whichever study you will complete in undergraduate, that will be carried forward in a master degree, where you can either do it for 1 year, you can do it for 3 years, or you can directly in the beginning of your undergraduate study, you can opt for an uh, integrated degree. Then who can take PhD program? Now those who have completed their 4 years of degree, undergraduate degree with research, they can take directly the PhD program. And also in this PhD program, they have to do a 1 year or 2 year of bridge course or bridge activity, so that they can come up to the level of PhD program. And the people who are holding master degree, they can directly proceed for the PhD program. And from whenever the NEP will be come into act, and since that time MPhil will be discontinued. Now we have MPhil degree, which is some kind of bridge between the PG and PhD, where we in MPhil degree there is more rigorous work related to research is done. Now it will be abolished, or it will be discontinued, as because the research part is started from undergraduate degree itself, which is lacking in present situation. So it can be discontinued, or it will be discontinued. So I don't think there will be a problem related to discontinuation of MPhil, because already child is going through a lot of research activity during his undergraduate and then in his postgraduate. Now let's see the next. We will now move on to the changes which have been proposed. Now, under the institutional restructuring, uh, NEP has proposed that none of the institute will work alone. Nowadays, we have Commerce College, we have Arts College, Science College, and Management College, B.Ed colleges, education colleges. Everything is scattered and working as their own disciplines. But now onwards, there will be multidisciplinary higher education institute as well as universities. So all these segregated or fragmented colleges have to come together to form the large hub of colleges of higher education institute, where the student will get all different kind of exposure, be it science, be it arts, be it humanities, education, and all those. So the entire structure of the higher education will be integrated, will be multidisciplinary. And also the NEP has targeted that each one of multidisciplinary university or higher education institute should aim to cater more than 3,000 students. So there's a huge number, that is a huge enrollment ratio which the higher education institute have to cater. And for that they need a lot of reform internally as well as externally. They need to reform thoroughly so that they can cater the need of 3,000 and more students, due to which there will be more students who can come and can study. So this literacy rate ratio is also will go up in higher education. Like, so that is also will be a positive impact. Now the universities, the multidisciplinary university will be categorized into two different forms. One is research intensive. Research intensive universities will be those universities where there will be equal weightage given to research as well as teaching. Equal weightage given to research as well as teaching. So there will be 50% of research and 50% of teaching. So that will go hand in hand. So those university will be categorized as research intensive university, as well as there will be another category where there that will known as teaching intensive, where more of teaching will happen and little bit less of research will happen, but the researches will be significant in amount. It cannot go in a very low ratio. So there will be a significant amount of research will be done in teaching intensive university also. So that is a good move which is taken, because nowadays when we are seeing the scenario of higher education, many of the institute does not cater any kind of or does not indulge in any kind of research activity. So if the students will be exposed more to research activity, there will be good input for our society and our entire nation. So that is one good move taken by NEP. So we need to understand here and think about that. Are these two institutes are going to be completely separate? No, they are not going to be completely separate. And once the university is stamped as uh, research intensive, will they be that in that category always? No, it will be based on the accreditation, that how they are performing, what kind of work they are doing, and based on that there can be a movement. There can be a movement from one category to another category. If the council which is going to do the accreditation is found out that the university is not performing well in research, they can be moved to the category of teaching intensive. And if they found that teaching intensive institutes or HEIs are providing a huge amount of research and doing good research, they can move to the other category. So there will be a flexibility in movement from one category to another category. So all the university will push forward, will work hard to reach to the higher status. So there will be a positive competitions to give more and more to the student. And when the universities and the higher education institute will be of higher category, definitely the students are going to be more benefited by it. So that is one good move by NEP. Now, there will be the colleges which are running um, on their own. They will be, and they are affiliated to different universities. They will be provided chance to get autonomy, and this autonomy will be graded. So they have to monitor, they have to develop an institutional development plan according to which they will move and they will work so that they can get autonomy. And this autonomy will be given by the accreditation councils, which will see that if the institute is is up to the par that it can work in an autonomous manner. So to get autonomy also, you need to work hard, you need to prove yourself. So whenever you need to prove yourself, definitely at that time more inputs and good involvement of the faculty leaders and the governing body, everyone is going to be very good, and there will be highly enhanced quality in the education. So it is also proposing that by 2030, all HEIs will be there. Like there will be HEIs or higher education institute near or in each district. So this will add to the development of the student, because the more many of the students will not most of the time is not able to get into the higher education institute because of the distance and because of the financial background they are facing, the economic problem they face. They are not able to get into the higher education institute. So now if there will be higher education institute near to their houses, near to their places, it will be more approachable, it will be more uh, yes, they can cater to more of the student of the area where there is a need of higher education. So there will be, this will be a good initiative because more and more students will be accommodated into the higher education, and this will definitely give India a better position, because the more that the people are educated, the better it is. And this will be in both public and private sector. Like even the government is going to set up many higher education institute near to the district or in the districts, as well as it will also help the private bodies to set up higher education institute and run them. Also, public HEs, we know that we have this notion that whenever the higher education institute we are talking about, we always think that whenever it is a private one, they work better, they give higher quality. But now with this policy, it is said that all the public higher education institute will be of very high quality. Mostly whenever we see about the public institute, in that case we can only talk about IITs and IIMs, and we say that they are very good quality and they are producing good alumni. But now each and every higher education institute will be in an outstanding position. There will be there will be a particular benchmark set for each and every higher education institute which they have to fulfill. So to fulfill that, they have to definitely increase the quality, they have to definitely increase their potential, so that they will be up to the they'll reach up to the benchmark. And when then said benchmark is gonna be fulfilled by the HIE, definitely they are also going to be outstanding in the delivery of higher education. So that is one of the major point which has been put forward, that all the public HIEs will be outstanding and they will be pushed forward to give the best, and that will definitely help the people of the country, because public, we all know public institutes and public organizations are much more pocket friendly than the private institute, and it will give more, it will give chance more to the socio economically backward people, as well as the other who wants to pursue higher education. Apart from that, it has also provided and said that each higher education institute, after a particular accreditation, can develop their own open learning, distance learning, as well as they can develop online programs. So this open distance learning and online programs will be added to the value of the institute, and these will, they can get admission from the other higher institute as well. So now what they are saying, when they are talking about multidisciplinarity, there we cannot give each and every discipline in each and every colleges. So if a child is taking admission in one college and he wants to do a course of any other college provided by any other college, he can do so by open distance learning or by online programs. But these open distance learning and online programs will be of very high quality and standard, almost or at par with the in class activities or in class learning. So there will be higher quality and it will be monitored throughout by the accreditation council, so that the quality of the open distance learning and online programs will be maintained, and also they can provide a good amount of education through blended learning or through blended mode. Apart from that, greater responsibility is been given to HIEs, so they will be autonomous and they can govern themselves. There will be more power to them. So when power comes, great responsibilities come. So these responsibilities include everything. It includes research, it includes teaching, it includes not only the education part, it also includes how the higher education institute is going and reaching to the community, how the higher education institute is going beyond the boundaries of its own, and it is supporting the community and it is providing service to the community. That will also be a very important part of all HEIs. Also, HEIs are directed to give more support to school education. And how they can do it? They can provide their student to the school education so that they can learn. Also, there can be partnership where the student of higher education institute will go to the school education as interns, and they will provide more support to the school education so that new innovations can come in the school education also. So that is also become a responsibility of higher education institute, that they should take care of the community and they should also take care of the school education. And also there will be a new regulatory system which I'm going to talk about later. A new regulatory system will be formed which is going to give an umbrella to all institutions. So there will be abolition of few and a new entire system or hierarchy of regulatory system will be formed. I will going to discuss this little later. Then there will be integration of professional and vocational education. So what will be the effect of it? Nowadays we see that in our society many of the work are seen as not as with respect. So this part will go when there will be an integration of the professional as well as vocational. That is one part. Apart from that, each and every student will learn some or other vocation. They will be good in that, and they may, if they are trained for a longer time, they may do a lot of work in that field. Apart from that, they can do innovation in those fields. So there will be a good result out of it when the professional as well as vocational education will be combined or integrated. It also focuses on the holistic development of the child. It is said that the child should develop with all the values, morals, and spiritual ability. They should be emotionally very strong there. Apart from the cognitive skills, we definitely uh, push forward that in our education system nowadays. But along with that, we have to take care of the emotional, social, spiritual, and all other aspect of a child. And how we can do it? By doing more, by involving more with the student, and this will bring out the best out of the students, and they will be a complete human beings. They will be a human beings, and where they will have a higher category of spiritual and social interaction and emotional balance. So that is the main purpose of this entire project, or this restructuring of higher education institute. And how we can reach up to that by integration of humanities art with the STEM means science, technology, engineering, and maths. So if we are going to integrate them, what will happen? Now there is a very big segregation between the communities. The student have been divided into communities of arts and science. So they interact, they mix up with the people of their own community, and there is less amount of frequency going here and there. So when the flexibility will be there, when there will be a continuum in the structure of the education, at that time there will be more movement of the student, more exchange of idea, interdisciplinarity will increase, and as well as the soft skill of mingling with the other people will increase, and it will develop more as the child will learn more and more things from interaction with the other type of or other community of the students. So that is one good part of it. Apart from that, vocational subjects will be added. Also, soft skill subjects will be there, where they will learn how the personality, the integral personality develops. So that is also a very good work, because personality development is also a very important part of developing the child, and all the aspects of personality, be it emotional, be it intellectual, be it moral, be it uh, other linguistic and everything. So with the help of soft skill development, that will be also developed. So that is also a good initiative by NEP. Apart from that, it also suggests that there should be a flexible curricular structure, where in this flexible structure there will be multiple entry and exit. If a child thinks that now I want to take a break for few days, I have completed this much and I want to take a break, and then again I want to continue later on, he can definitely do so, and he will not be stamped as dropout or anything. So there will be multiple entry and exit facility in the curriculum. And as there is no rigid boundaries will remain in the discipline, a child who is studying maths and science may study philosophy, he can study geography, he can study the other subjects as well. So there will be no rigid boundary, and he can definitely integrate whatever knowledge he is getting from the other disciplines, and integrate and come up with new ideas. So that will be a good thing for the student to come up or innovate in their life, or innovate new things which will help the society in a large manner. Then there is a provision of lifelong learning, so that if you want to learn throughout your life, or if you want to take break and again join, you can do so. So lifelong learning will be facilitated, and it will be given importance, or also the respect to it will be given. Apart from that, research based specializations will be there. Because of this research based specializations, there will be more innovation, there will be more scientific thinking in the society, and it will develop entrepreneurship also. It will develop different kind of attitude towards looking into things in a different way also, it will develop. So research based specialization will also help in the higher studies, where they, if they can go, if they are going into master, if they are going to PhD, that will also help. Because nowadays in UG level, we seriously do very less amount of researches as such. Then credit, which the student will get from open distance learning and online programs, will also be considered. They will be considered, and they will be added to their academics. So they will be considered, and all the projects and all the credits which they will gain from online distance modes or open distance learning, that will be accumulated in their academic credit banks. These academic credit banks will be kind of a bank locker, where the credit of the student and each and every individual will be accumulated, and that can be easily seen. And this entire system will be digital, so that the student does not have to go here and there for their degrees and all. So it can be accumulated in uh, one digital platform. So maybe, which is not yet specified that how the digitalization will be done, but maybe each and every student will be provided with unique IDs, and that related to that IDs, all credit will be accumulated, and that will be helpful for students. They can definitely visit to their own credit academic credit bank, and then they can see, or as well as the employer, if the student is giving the ID to the employer, they can directly see that what kind of academic the student has done. There will be less paperless activity. It will promote the paperless activity in the work, which will definitely help the environment in a larger sense. Apart from that, it also proposed that there will be multidisciplinary education and research university, which will be named as Meru. And the work of Meru will be very, very profound, where they will collaborate with the other industries so that they can get more and more input from the industry, as well as they have to collaborate with the education system. And if you want to get into this Meru category from the research intensive or teaching intensive, you have to show as an higher education institute, you have to show that you deserve it through the accreditation, through the work you are doing. So everything will be grading based. Like you can move from one category to another category. The higher institute can move from one category to another category by the accumulation of grades or by the grades which they are getting through the accreditation councils. Also, it says that we have to innovate, we have to do a lot of research, and to promote this research and research work, it has proposed that in each HIEs or in each Meru universities or University of Multidisciplinary Education and Research, there will be startup incubation centers where the student can come and they can share their idea, and the idea will be incubated and they will be processed. Then there must be an technological development center in each and every higher education institute. Apart from that, centers of research will be there, which will collaborate into different disciplinary institute within the higher education institute. So there will be interdisciplinarity in the research, like a research which is done in the field of economics, and it requires some psychological help to understand the psychology uh, of the population. In that time, the economics can take help from the psychologists to understand that. So there will be an interdisciplinary approach to the research, which will definitely help into increasing depth in the research work. And also there will be these research centers which will be there in each and every higher education institute. They will collaborate with the industry, local industry, so that their student can go there for internship, their student can be absorbed there after their work, as well as the research which are done in the universities or in the higher education institute. If they are credible, if they are good enough to be taken by the industry, they can be taken forward. Nowadays, what happened? There were a huge amount of researches are going on, but we all know this for the fact that most of them are only into those black books and locked into the libraries of different institute. They does not come into play into the society. So there will be more effect. The research will reach up to the society level, up to the community level, and they will give more fruit to it. They will provide more better understanding to it. Now, we have to do all the things, but what about the students? They also need a huge amount of support, because there is going to be a change in the entire system. So till now they are going through some kind of education, and now there is a change, so they need higher support from the entire system, and the learning environment should grow very much faster and should provide a very positive effect, so that the students will get more benefit out of this changing scenario. So for that, there are a few proposals which have been given forward. That the first one is higher quality of pedagogy. Till now, we know that most of the teachers are most of the faculties, they usually use the lecture method, they usually use the chalk and duster method, and the higher pedagogy skills or the higher pedagogy teachings which promotes the creativity, the creative thinking, the critical thinking, and higher order thinking skills are not being much used. But now, to support the student, even the teacher, the faculty have to adapt to high quality pedagogy. They have to learn and they have to implement that in their classrooms. Apart from that, the experience, the learning experience is less of talking and more of activity and more of working experience. Learning experience should be given to the student to develop their and the entire personality of the student. Apart from that, there should be a continuous formative assessment. Now what we have is once in a year we are having examinations, and if by any chance a good student becomes sick or something and he cannot attempt properly in their paper, they are completely uh, into go to the backstage. Now this will be abolished if the child will show a continuous improvement, continuous hard work during the entire session. They will be assessed through that. There will be a continuous comprehensive evaluation which is already started in the school education, will also be part of higher education, so that we will not judge the child based on that one day which may be faithful or unfaithful for that student. So that should be adopted, and it is given an emphasis on continuous formative assessment. In the institutional plan, development plan, whenever the institutes are going to develop, they are going to get more autonomy. At that time, in this institutional development plan of that higher education institute, they have to put forth that what kind of learning environment they will provide to the student and what kind of support they will provide to the student, and they have to adhere to that, because at the end of the entire at the end they will be assessed based on what they have put forth for the student in their institutional development plan, and how they have implemented and how they have increased, how they have gone to higher level. So that will also be part of it, that in the institutional development plan you have to, or the institute, higher education institute, have to clear cut describe that how they are going to support the students in administrative aspect, in curricular involvement, and also how the classroom transactions will be given. So that will be there in the institution development plan, and each and every higher education institute have to adhere to their institutional development plan if they want to get good grades. Also, the higher education institute have to provide support to the student in form of support centers, where the socio-economically disadvantaged kids, where the exceptional kids, where the exceptional students who are having some or other kind of exceptionality or disabilities, they will come and they will take support. So this support system will be an all-round support system where they will get academic resources, more and more academic resources. They will be provided with funds in the support system, as well as counselor, medical assistance. Everything should be integrated part of this support system, so that the student, if he comes and seeks the support of the support center, they will get all kind of support which actually they require. Then it is also said that to help the student, open distance learning will be strengthened. They have to be renewed. They will get a new standards and guidelines, as now all the higher education institute can form their own online distance learning and their own open distance learning and online distance program. In that case, it is very important that the quality uh, of the program should be maintained. So to do so, there will be a legislation through which the standard and guidelines will be fixed, and also the properly the graded institutes only can develop these programs. Apart from that, none of them can develop this program. So there will be stringent standards and guidelines to be followed, and there will be a particular framework for the quality of the open distance learning and online program. Then only the higher education institute can go for it. Otherwise, they cannot. So this also will be of at par education or at par with the in-class education, and the quality will be same with the in-class education. And that's how the credits which will be earned through a open distance learning and online program can be credited into their academic credit banks. Apart from that, there will be more internationalization of the system. So the government will sign MOUs with different countries as well as different universities, so that they can come to our country and our student can go to their country. There will be more faculty and student exchange programs, which is now mostly very discreet with only few very good universities, but this will be a common program, or this will be a common work for each and every higher education institute, whoever will meet the standards of it. So they can go for faculty exchange program, they can go for student exchange program. MOU they can do with the other university, where they can get the inputs from the universities of international standard, and they can get input from the universities which are abroad. So that will be a good move to enhance the quality of education in our country as well. As apart from that, if a student who is coming from abroad to study in our country, they will be provided quality residential facilities. They will be given more social engagement, because most of the time they feel lost in for them this is a India will be a foreign country, so they will feel lost. So to remove that barrier, there will be more social engagement, so that they can be more free and they can feel at ease in the new country. As well as more on campus support will be provided to them. International student officers will be appointed to take care of these students, and there will be more collaboration between the students who are coming from outside and the students who are in the university. So there will more collaboration, there will more interaction, more cooperation. So that will increase the internationalization of Indian education, and maybe in future we can uh, be a big education hub, where all the students from other countries are coming and they are getting education, and that will be definitely helpful to increase the standard of our education as well. So apart from that, there will be more opportunities for the students, like counseling system will be there, good quality medical facilities will be provided to them. If they want to do any other thing apart from studies, be it sports, culture, arts, eco clubs, different kind of activities, if they want to do community services, if they want to do projects in community, they will be provided with that. And then these will be convert into credit, and that can be accumulated in their credit bank. So that is also a very good opportunity for the student. If a student who likes singing and he is taking science, and nowadays what happened, there is no recognition of that child or that student apart from the annual day celebration, or if they are singing in the classroom. So apart from that, there is no recognition. But now with this system, these artists in different field will be recognized, as well as they can pursue their hobbies, and it will be converted into the credits. So it will be helpful for the student as well. And also financial supports will be given to the student. There will be lots of free ships, it will be provided both by private and public institutes. Scholarship will be given, in incentives will be given to the student of greater merit. Also, national scholarship portal will be established. It will be a digital portal where these disbursement of these free ships, scholarship and incentives will be clearly seen against the student, and if anybody wants to apply, they can directly apply in the national scholarship portals. It will be more transparent. It will be more reachable to the student who need support. So that is also is going to be a very good move related to this national education policy of establishment of national scholarship portal. It also talk about the inclusion. So when we are talking about inclusion, in our society we have a stigma, though it is decreasing, but still it is there. It is being a part of our society. So this inclusion, which is there in the society, needs to go so that we can accommodate all the students, all the person with different kind of exceptionality in our entire system. So for that, the NEP has provided few initiatives. It has said that there will be a common policy of inclusion throughout the country, throughout all higher education. So the policies will be same for each and every institute. They cannot lay down their own policies. So that will be more better, because each and every child, or if each and every student with exceptionality can understand these policies and approach the higher education institute to get the education, to get the benefit of the education. Then there will be counseling, will start from the school. Most of the time what happen, the parents get discouraged and they don't come forward with the child, so that they can get enough amount of exposure in higher education. So there will be counseling started from school, and this will be also a responsibility of higher education institute, that they will go to the school and counsel, even counsel the kids, the parents and the school teachers, so that the child who are having different kind of exceptionalities, who are having different kind of problems and they struggle a lot, they will be counseled properly, and they can bring to the entire education system, they can join the entire education system. So there will be few steps which will be taken by the government as well as higher education institute. Government will provide the funds, they will see that there is a balance between the gender, or during the admission suppose will be given to the teaching in Indian language, so that the child uh, from a socio-economically backward area can be incorporated into the higher education, and there will be more there will establishment of higher education institute will be there in the areas which will be identified as socio-economically disadvantaged area. So these were the steps which will be taken by the government, and there will be more responsibility comes to the higher education institute related to education, where they have to give financial assistance. Also they have to arrange for the bridge courses, so that the child who is coming from a socio economically backward classes, or there is a gap in the knowledge, that will be bridged, that will be done, that will be covered through these bridge courses. So bridge courses also should be provided by the higher education institute. Apart from that, curriculum should be more inclusive. Infrastructural facilities will be there, which will enhance the accessibility. Many of the schools, many of the colleges, many of the institute does not have ramp, they don't have the railing to hold it, they don't have lifts, so that becomes a huge amount of problem for the students with exceptionality to approach into the higher education institute. So infrastructure facility development is also a very important part related to inclusion, and responsibility goes to the higher education institutes, that they make their infrastructure in such a way that they can accommodate the people with some kind of exceptionalities. Also there will be anti-harassment laws which will be put forward by the institute, and there will be stringent action to be taken in case of harassment. Also there will be sensitization of the of the faculty and the student, because it's very important to not look upon them as a lower as something who are in a lower strata, which we do still now, where we have this mentality that they are not at par with the other so-called normal people. So that sensitization among the faculty as well as students should be developed, so that inclusion will be really more inclusive. Now, it has also proposed changes in the teacher education. In teacher education, it has said that a new regulatory body will be formed, and this new regulatory body, which will be different from NCTE, will see the see the entire teacher education. So, and nowadays, there is less amount of action taken against the poor quality teacher education institute, but it is also provided in the NEP 2020 that if it is found out that the teacher education is not providing enough amount of inputs and they are just distributing the credentials or the certificate in against the money, in that case action will be taken against those teacher education institute. So there will be stringent action will be taken against those institute who are not giving their best and they are just distributing the certificates as per se. And by 2030, all of the education institute should turn themselves into multidisciplinary institute, where they have to collaborate, they have to attach themselves with other higher education institutes, and they run in a composite manner. They run in hand with the other discipline institute. They have to work in that way, and as well as they have given that there should be more and more research should be done in field of education, because it is suggested that the faculties now will be adopted to higher pedagogical system. So when they have to adapt to higher more innovative kind of pedagogy, in that case there should be more and more research should be done in the teacher education, so that this may be percolated to the faculty, and it will enhance the quality of the faculty, and it will enhance the professions in professional development of the faculty. So that has to be part of teacher education, and it is also become the responsibility of teacher education that the researches which are done in education should percolate to the to other faculties as well. Now, the shape of teacher education is going to change. So here, what they have proposed that now B.Ed degree, which is a separate degree right now, will not exist. It will be a 4-year integrated B.Ed degree, where the student will do major in two different subjects. One in their subject, maybe it is English or maths or science or any other subject, history, civics, geography, whatever. So specialization in that. Apart from that, they will also specialize in education. So that will be an integrated B.Ed degree for 4 years. Apart from that, those students who have already got bachelor's degree, who have already got the bachelor degree, they can go for a 2-year B.Ed degree. They can go for education for a 2-year B.Ed degree. But for that, you have to complete your bachelor degree, the 3-year bachelor degree. And if a student who has completed his 4 years degree with research, they have to take 1 year B.Ed degree. So now the B.Ed degree will be in three different category. 1 year B.Ed degree for the students who have completed their 4 years of degree with specialization area in research, with rigorous research. Apart from that, 2 years of B.Ed where bachelor degree, student with bachelor degree can apply, as well as the integrated B.Ed degree with dual major degree. Apart from that, each and every PhD student have to take certain credit-based teaching and education uh, courses. Why? Because most of them, we have seen that most of them, after doing their doctoral degree, they join the education institute. So if they know that how to teach, what kind of pedagogy to use, how to modify their own work during teaching, they need to take a credit based course. So I think this is also going to be a good move, because most of the time there are many teachers who are hugely knowledgeable, they are supremely knowledgeable, but they sometimes lag behind you in the transaction matter. So a transaction of knowledge matter. In that case, this particular work will help them, because they are also taking some course which is related to teaching and education and pedagogy. Apart from that, it is said that it will set up a national mission for mentoring. In this national mission for mentoring, they we are going to appoint senior retired faculty who are again going to be the mentor of the faculty in the universities. And if the faculties are having any kind of problem, they are facing some kind of problem in the teaching learning process, they can directly consult these seniors, these faculties who are there in national mission of mentoring, and they will support and they will provide them, so that they can overcome the difficulties which they are facing in their teaching learning process. So, apart from teaching learning, the NEP also gives very much importance to the vocational education. It has already, I already discussed with you that it has given that there will be integration of vocational education into the mainstream. The mainstream education will be integrated with the vocational integration, and each and every student have to learn at least one vocation. So this vocational education will be provided by the higher education institute, and when they are providing these vocational courses, that will be considered for their gross enrollment ratio, which should be more, or at least till 3000 students. So this will be considered in their gross enrollment ratio, that what kind of vocational education are being given, as well as how many students are being enrolled in the vocational education. So that will be a criteria for the grading of the higher education institute. Now, when higher education institute have to provide this vocational education, they can either do it by their own, they design their own curriculum, they design their own program and curriculum, and they put it forward, or they can do it with partnership. And this partnership can be done with the NGOs. They can do with a different kind of soft skill experts. They can do it through different local industries which are there. So this entire thing should be planned and programmed by the higher education institute. That is also an important responsibility shouldered on the higher education institute. So vocational education will be the integral part of the entire education system. And MHRD, which is now going to be called as Ministry of Education, is going to set up a committee which will be known as National Committee for Integration of Vocational Education. So they will do the analysis of the skill gap. What kind of gap is there between the knowledge and the skill? So they will do the skill gap analysis, and based on that skill gap analysis, more and more vocational activities will be proposed, and that can be carried forward by higher education institute. They will also map the local opportunities which are provided in different areas, so that the higher education institute can follow their directive and start working in that. Also, experts of different areas of vocational study will be directly linked with this committee, and they will help the higher education institute to develop the program. So that is a good move, because the government is now giving a more opportunity to the higher education institute to develop their own vocation, and for that they are also giving this plan is also giving a lot of input, that they will do the skill gap analysis, they will do the mapping of the local needs, they will do the mapping of the local opportunities which is available in that area. Also, experts will be provided for the guidance of the higher education institute, so that they can form their own vocational education. Also, incubation centers, which I already discussed with you all, that incubation centers will be there for each and every higher education institute, where they will do more of incubation of the ideas, and will come up with new ideas of different types which will help the society at large. Apart from that, it also direct us about the academic research, that there will be more these all things I have already discussed, but I'll just go through in gist. That promotion of interdisciplinary activities will be there, interdisciplinary research will be there, so that if there is a deficiency, or if there is a some problem found in the arts factor, will be solved by the science faculty, or people from the science faculty. So there will be more integration of the work, there will be more integration of the knowledge, so that the quality of the research will be of higher grade, and will get better and better researchers, which will give huge amount of uh, inputs and recommendations, which will eventually help the society to grow in a better way. Also, there will be a transformation of research, both qualitatively and quantitatively. Quantitative increase in research will be there due to the integration of the research from the UG level. So there will be more quantity of research will be done in each and every step. Apart from that, quality will also be increased through interdisciplinary approach, and also it is said that from very childhood, the discovery learning method, the inquiry based learning method will be promoted. Critical thinking, creative thinking, and higher order thinking skills will be promoted, so that we will get more quality research in our country. As well as it has proposed to set up a national research foundation, and national research foundation will provide fund to the outstanding researchers. It will give recognition to the outstanding researchers, it will give incentive to the outstanding researchers, and then it will act as a liaison between the society and the researcher. The ideas of the researcher will go to the community, will go to the government, will go to the industry, so that they can be used, they can not only be sealed in those dissertation books, they can be used further. So that is also is going to be a positive effect of NEP. Sorry, there is some. Yeah. Okay. Let's now see about the regulatory system. So huge change, as I already told you all, that a huge change is going to happen in the regulatory system. So in NAP, it has proposed that there will be a umbrella institute, which will be known as Higher Education Commission of India, HECI, and under this Higher Education Commission of India, there will be four different institutes which will function independently, and they will have different work to disperse. They will have different work to do. Now let's see one by one each one of the institute. The first institute will be National Higher Education Regulatory Council. So this National Higher Education Regulatory Council will be the single point regulation of the entire higher education system. So under that there will be HEIs, there will be university, there will be teacher education. So everything will come under it, and it will see the governance of the institute, how the higher education institute are governed, and also it will see the finance aspect of the governance. So finance and governance of the entire system of the entire higher education institute will be seen by NHERC. Apart from that, it will also see that what kind of outcome you are getting after you have developed your IDPs, institutional development plans, in which you are saying that you want to get this kind of learning outcomes from the student. So are you going to get them, or have you reached up to that? If you are not, they will work in two way. That will affect the grading system, which will take upon by some other by NAC, but that will also, this higher education regulatory council will help also the higher education institute, so that they can reach up to the mark and they can fulfill their own institutional development plans, and if there is some lacunas, how to overcome that. So that also will be suggested by high H by NHERC. Apart from that, they want to keep a transparent system. For that, they are saying that everything will be digital. Everything will be digital, and there will be a portal for National Higher Education Regulatory Council, where in this website you can get all the information related to all the higher education institute and university and teacher education in India. So it will be a one platform for entire country. So that is also that is also a good move, because till now we know that if we have to search for things, we have to go to each and every university or website, and we have to go through, and we have to compare. But that entire thing will be done in this one platform, and it will give more accessibility to the student to decide where they want to study. So that is definitely going to have a good effect. Also, it is said that we are not only going to see what you are putting into your website, and you are putting the input in the website of NHERC. This council is also going to take feedback, and they will develop a mechanism of feedback of each and every higher education institute, and that feedback will be taken from the different stakeholders, so that they can define, or they can understand what is the actual standard of the higher education institute. The next pillar of the Higher Education Commission of India will be National Accreditation Council. So they will form a basic norm for the quality, and each and every higher education institute, universities, and all other uh, teacher education have to fulfill those basic norms, and that entire thing will be done through public discourse. It should be transparent to the public, it should be transparent to the general stakeholders who are related to that higher education institute. Also, this will do, the NAC will do the re-evaluation of institutional development plans. So whatever plan you have as an HEI is put forth, that will be re-evaluated, that you have achieved or not. Based on that, grades will be awarded to different to higher education institute, and based on these grades your finance will depend. Based on these grades, uh, the programs which you can conduct in your online, offline, open learning, vocational, everything will be depend on this grade. So it will re-evaluate the institutional development plans, which is actually put forth by the higher education institute. And the third pillar of this higher education commission of India will be the higher education grant commission. So this will be mostly related to the grants, the finance and the funds, also disbursement of the scholarships. So there will be a single portal entry to this, that with one portal, each and every higher education institute will be linked, and the student will get the knowledge of what kind of scholarship will be provided in which institute and where I can go and study. So this kind of transparency will be provided through Higher Education Grant Council. Apart from that, it will see the funding and finance part of the higher education institute, that if they are using the funds in a proper way, and the finance which they get from they are getting from the public, are they are using them in a proper way, or they will also see that if it is a profit making institute, what this money which is come as profit reinvested in education or not, this entire thing will be overseen by higher education grant council. And the last one, the last pillar will be the higher education, sorry, general education council. And the general education council will see the teaching learning part of it, that how the learning outcomes are coming, how you are framing the learning outcomes, how you are framing the objectives of the study, how you are framing the specification of it, what you want to achieve through your through your teaching learning process. So everything which is which will be translated into learning outcomes will be overseen by general education council. Apart from that, it will see that they will be in sync between higher education and the vocational education. The linkage between the vocational education and professional education and the academic education will be in sync. That also will be seen by general general education council. Apart from that, the you remember, if you remember, I have already told you that there will be academic bank, credit bank. So this academic credit bank will be overseen by general education council, and it will facilitate the credit transfer. So if a child is doing some course in some other university, and then he is coming to this and doing some other courses in one university, how the credit will be transferred, what is the equivalency of the credit, those all everything will be seen by general education council. So now, what will happen to the NCT, then Veterinary Council of India, Indian Council for Agriculture Research, Council of Architecture? What will happen to these bodies if these if councils will come into the play? This will be these ICRA, VIC, NCT, or Council of Architecture will be transformed into professional standard setting body. They will be converted into professional standard setting body with no regulatory power, no regulatory. Now they have regulatory power. Later on, they will not have any regulatory power. They will only draw the curriculum. They will set the academic standard. They will coordinate between the researches done in those institute. Also, they will see the extension services which are provided by this. So they will be set as professional standard setting bodies, which will see to the curriculum part of it, and also it will support the higher education institute to develop all the courses. So there will be no regulatory work related to NCTE, COE, VIC, or ICAR. So that is also a move, or that is also a work taken by the NEP 2020. So now the question comes that when we are giving more and more work to the private organization, and we are leaving and we're giving autonomy to higher education institute, how we are not like promoting commercialization. So there also in NEP they have put forward uh, certain things which will restrain from commercialization of the education. Though it is a main concern right now that maybe the autonomies which we are going to give, which the higher education institute is going to give, they will use it to commercialize the education. So, what are the different points which is given by the NEP to restrain commercialization? There will be multiple checkpoints, as I already discussed with you that. NAC, National Accreditation Council, then NHERC, then Higher Education Council, then HEGC, Higher Education Grant Council. All of them are going to check on each and every institute that there won't be any kind of misappropriation of the funds which they are getting. So this multiple check, and also they will work, all these four regulatory bodies, as they are working independent of each other, there will be more transparency into the work, and there will be more regulatory authority of these bodies on the higher education institute. So there will be multiple checks which will restrain the commercialization of education. Apart from that, there will be similar standard of audits and discourse throughout the country, and it will be legislated. It will be legislated through common guidelines by the government of India. So there will be common audit and discourse for each and every higher education institute, and both public as well as private institute will be treated same. There won't be any kind of treatment for any of them. And also the because of these multiple checks, there will be more stringent action can be taken against the higher education institute. And when there will be more like if there will be more vigilant action taken by the authority, so the higher education institute will restrain themselves from getting into more commercialized activity, and the education will run more and more through public and philanthropic partnership. Also, the NEP has suggested that they will set an upper limit for the fee structure, and this fee structure, which will be set by the government, it cannot be violated. And then, if you want to increase the fee during the course of time, the higher education institute are not allowed to hike the fee during the enrollment tenure. So there will be multiple checks, and there will be a set upper limit to the fee structure. Through that, there will be check on the commercialization of the education, higher education. So, who is going to govern the entire higher education? The entire higher education or institute will be governed by board of governors. So there won't be a single point governance. It will be more democratic governance governed by the board of governors. So new legislation will be passed to for the constitution of the board of governors and their appointment policies, the functioning of the board of governors, what function they will do, and what rules and regulations they have to follow, what responsibilities they have to take. So all these will be put forth through a new legislations, and as it will come in legislation, definitely it won't be violated that easily. You cannot violate those things. And what will be the responsibility? What will be the responsibility of board of governors? They will see. They will take all the responsibility related to higher education institute. They will see the accountability to the stakeholder. The transparent working of the entire institute will be overseen by them. They will have the onus of development of institutional development plan. They will have to develop the institutional development plan throughout, and also they have to see that they are being fulfilled. So all the regulatory activity and work done in higher education institute will be seen by the board of governors. They will act as the governing body, and they will provide the guidelines which has to be met by the by the institute and the faculties, and they will give the direction to each and everything. The guideline will be provided, and the higher education institute and their working and the employees have to work according to it. So this is about the board of governance. It also has provided some timelines which we have to achieve during the time. So it has said that 50% learners uh, should be vocationally trained by 2025. By 2025, 50% of the learner of higher education institute should be turned into or enrolled into some or other vocational education. So by that time, even the higher education institute has to come up with the vocational different kind of vocational activity in the higher education. So they have to come up with different programs which will incorporate it as the vocational education. Also, all the higher educational institute will be converted into multidisciplinary institute by 2030. So higher education institute now which are segregated like commerce college, arts college, science college, they have to come together and they have to form a multidisciplinary institute, so that how they will do and how they will work, that entire work is given upon the authorities of higher education institute, that how they are going to collaborate with each other and they will form the hub of institute. So that has to be achieved by 2030. It also said that the gross enrollment ratio should increase by 50% by 2035. By 2035, the gross enrollment ratio should be increased by 50%. That means nearly each and every multidisciplinary institute now have to have minimum 1,500 students in them. So, and there will be more autonomy, and board of governors will be empowered. So they have to come up with the gross enrollment ratio, how they will uh, intake more and more student by 2035, so that the ratio will be at least 50%. Then by 2040, all the enrollment, like enrollment of the target given by 3,000 and more, will be fulfilled by 2040. So that is the target again given by NEP to us, so that these timelines will be followed and the target should be met. I think with this I have finished my presentation. Uh, Now, if you have questions, we can definitely discuss on that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a great session. You have almost touched all the important concepts of NEP, like proposed structure of higher education, multiple entry and exit options in degree courses, student support, regulatory system, and much more. So now we will move on to the question and answer session, ma'am.
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
due,
definitely.
due to the time constraint, we have chosen few questions for you.
No, no, sure.
Uh,
Thank you.
the first question here is like this: is there any special provision in NEP 2020 for the development of education in tribal region?
Yes, as I have discussed with her, so the government is going to see, or they are going to map the educationally disadvantaged areas, and these education socio-economically disadvantaged areas include the tribal areas as well. So when they are going to do the mapping of the areas where there are more people in socio-economic backward areas. So in that case, they will include all the tribal areas also. So there will be more accessibility of that people living in tribal areas into those institutes which will be set up in those socio-economically disadvantaged area. So that is already given. That is already given. And let me tell each and everyone that see, there are so many different good things they have proposed. They have proposed a lot of good things in this, but everything comes up to the implementation. You know, sir, or ma'am, it comes to the implementation, how we are going to implement it. So now we have to see that whatever being proposed should be implemented in proper way, implemented in very accurate way, so that whatever the visions have been put forward, the target which have been put forward should be achieved, should be. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Will the combination of maths, physics, and music be a reality?
I think yes, it can be. It can be. Now, so a child who is interested or who is good in music, but that music and he is doing some work in music field. Maybe he is a musician. Maybe he is a he's doing a lot of work in music field. His work is nowhere recognized unless and until it is coming into the YouTube or he is getting this. So through education we can give certain support to that child, he will also be encouraged to do more work. And one more thing, if the child is satisfied from his hobby side as well, he will be more interested in studying. Now what happened, don't do your hobbies, don't exercise your hobbies, don't do anything for your hobbies, only study, only study. So because of that, what happening, the human values, the human qualities are going down. So that will be the main part. So let's not see it only in terms of what we'll gain, what we'll lose in terms of money. Let's see that if or we are going to develop the person, the student, as a good human being with an integral character, with a character which will make him the ideal to the citizen of India, which will make him the ideal citizen of the entire globe. So that global citizen will be get through integration of this kind of activity only, sir. So that is what I think. That is my view personally. Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. Will the new education policy give more scope for open, distance, and online learning?
Yes, yes, yeah, surely, surely. There will be more scope there, because the credits will be accumulated, the credits will be acknowledged, so there will be more scope. Apart from that, the colleges, which are the higher education institute, will be graded into higher category. They can form their own online distance courses. They can develop their online courses. Due to the development of these online courses, there will be more availability of different kind of course. And as these will be accumulated in their credit banks, the students will be interested in taking. Nowadays, we have swim, we have move, but very few people, apart from those who are professional, very few go into that and take, because this credit is not translated into their credit system. So when it will start translating into their credit system, when it will be added to their credit bank, in that case, there will be more scope for online education and open distance learning. And also there will be more responsibility comes to higher education, that whenever they are going to design the online program, whenever they are going to design the open distance learning, at that time they have to keep the standard in mind. They have to keep the standard as good as the in class education. So there will be more scope for higher for online education and open distance learning. Yes, ma'am. Next question. Hello. Hello.
Hello, madam. Wait, madam.
Yes, yes.
Hello.
No
Uh,
problem.
Yeah. We have come to the end of the session. It's my privilege to give a vote of thanks.
So,
I
ma'am,
yeah.
may I interrupt you? Okay. So, I have shared with you all. If you can see, I have already given a link of Google Form in the chat box. I hope all of you have given. Actually, I wanted to have a discussion on that also, but as the time constraint is there, but I'll try to get back to all the queries which is being posed through the Google Form to me, and that is what I wanted to say. So
Yeah,
I hope,
sure, ma'am.
and at the end, I want to thank all of you. Let me just thank,
Yeah,
then finish. So I
yeah,
thank
sure.
each and everyone, the principal sir, the coordinator, and the anchor, and everyone who is present behind this webinar. You all have taken a good initiative. Of organizing this webinar where people from different corners of India are connected through online platform, and yeah, this is a good move, and this is a point where NEP is a really burning issue right now, where we need to focus, and where as a educator, as a faculty, we need to discuss more on it, and because it's going to be difficult for the faculties also to accommodate it because of the wide variety of multidisciplinary actions which has been proposed, and it will be very challenging. So I want to pose a question to each one of you that as a faculty, as a member of this higher education institute, are we seriously ready? If we are not seriously ready, let's introspect, let's see that how can we be future ready, how can we be more equipped so that this proposed structure of NEP will be realized in a very well manner, in a very proper manner. So that is all from my side. Thank you all for patiently hearing, and thank you each and everyone who has organized this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now it's time to give a vote of thanks. I, on behalf of Swami Vivekananda Rural Education Society and the organizing committee, would like to express a deep sense of gratitude to Mrs. Chaitali Ghosh Sinha for familiarizing all of us regarding the new reforms in higher education. I also like to thank all the management members of Swami Vivekananda Rural Education Society and our principal, Mr. T.S. Venkatesh Babu, for presiding over this webinar. I also thank all the participants for finding time and visiting today's webinar. I would also express my deep sense of appreciation for the organizing team, IQAC coordinator, department HODs, supporting staff, and the technical team behind the success of this webinar. Thank you, everyone. Before we wind up, participants, please note, please fill the Google form and the feedback link, which will be shared to you in the chat box and also YouTube. So please don't forget. Thank you all. Have a very nice day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you. Should we disconnect?
Yeah, yes, madam.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.